But I appreciate you coming out. For you guys who haven't been here before, we do this once a month. They rotate. Next month's going to be a technical topic again, so they rotate between business topics and technical topics. And today we're doing a business topic that's of great interest. So I knew Zach from his days at Boomtown. Now he's the co-founder of Hook Lead, which is a company, local marketing company, I guess, and he has 10 years of experience. I was actually pleasantly pleased when I got his, I don't think of Zach as having 2 kids, I think it was a young guy running around, and has a passion, I think, for digital marketing and more, so I'm going to let him take it away. Thanks, Zach, for being with us today.
So I want to thank you all for coming this morning. Pretty excited about being here and having a little geek out session with everyone. So if you have any questions, just save them for the end. We'll have a little QA, and hope everybody gets a lot of value out of this. So just to kind of build, Ernest kind of already introduced me, but I'm going to introduce myself some more. Co-founder of Hook Lead. We're a digital marketing and design company agency. We're downtown Charleston off of King and Line Street. Been doing marketing over 10 years, did graphic design before that and sales before that. I've lived in Charleston for over 10 years, so I guess that, it doesn't make me a native, but I've been around here for a little while. I do have 2 kids. I just got back from a breakfast with my daughter at school. She's 8 and my son is 3. They're great. They're a handful, and just happy to really enjoy living in Charleston and doing what I enjoy. So let's get into it. So when I was thinking about what I was going to talk about and what I was going to cover today, I kind of took a step back and thought, what are some of the challenges that a lot of my clients and prospects that I talk to face? And I started realizing, it's kind of a pattern. It doesn't matter what type of business, what vertical, what industry, big business, small business. It's a lot of the same challenges that I see time and time again. So I kind of took some of those challenges and put them together for this presentation, because maybe this might be something that some of you guys are challenged with as well. So what are the challenges that I commonly see? Generic marketing. So we'll get into more of this, what this means, but kind of like the we're great, choose us because we're great, not really speaking to your audience, for example, just kind of generalized marketing. Limited conversion opportunities. So I see it a lot, unfortunately. Hopefully none of you guys fall victim to this, but I see a lack of conversion opportunities, especially when I talk with new prospects and look at their websites. It's good for me because I know I can help, but it's just bad that there's still so many out there that have that lack of a marketing funnel. Of all the different types of marketing that I do now, marketing funnel is really the most effective. It's the most effective strategy I've been using lately. How many of y'all here are B2B businesses? All right, perfect. So about half and half. Marketing funnels are great for pretty much anything that you're doing, but it's especially good for longer sales cycles, higher price ticket items.
Sorry, what's a B2B business?
Business to business. Oh. Yeah, so business to business or business to consumer. But yeah, so it's great for longer sales cycles, higher ticket priced items, anything that someone has to research before they buy. Not leveraging data. A lot of companies are sitting on a lot of really good data that they're simply not using to their advantage. And then not tracking and measuring KPIs. A lot of companies that I talk with, they either don't have KPIs. Does everybody know what that is? Key performance indicators, kind of the metrics that matter. They either don't have KPIs, they're not tracking their KPIs, they're not measuring their KPIs, or they're just simply not really looking at them, or they're not letting them drive business decisions. So kind of getting into everything, I always begin with any effective marketing campaign always begins with your target audience. And a lot of people that I see will just kind of jump into the tactics, jumping into creating ads or creating blog posts. But really, where everything needs to begin is with your target audience. And it's really understanding who they are, how to market to them, what makes them tick. So the best way to kind of do that is to first create a buyer persona. So what a buyer persona is, it's essentially an outline, a profile of your ideal client. So think about who your best customers are, what is it about them, and kind of just build a profile around them. So what I mean by that is creating a buyer persona with lots of different information that you can use to create your digital strategies. Demographics, for example, how old are they? Are they between 35 and 45 years of age? Are they mostly female? Do they make $100,000 a year? Are they married? Do they have children? Do they live in urban or suburban areas? That is a lot of stuff that'll be good for your campaigns that we'll get into a little bit later. Goals, challenges, pain points. These you can somewhat lump together because this is kind of what makes them tick. So if you take a step back and think about when you kind of created, like, why is your product or service around? It's around because it services a need. Why do people come to you? Why would people do a Google search to find your product or service? Oftentimes it's something that triggers it, a goal that they want to reach, something that they're challenged with, something that is kind of a pain for them. And then common objections is a great way, especially if you have any kind of a sales process. Why not take some of that data that you have during sales and introduce that into your marketing so you can just kind of make that transition from marketing to sales a lot more seamless. Frequently asked questions is if you've been doing any one type of business for a while, you hear the same questions over and over and over. So that's something that you should have in your buyer personas as well. Because what you can do with that is essentially a roadmap for a lot of different things. For example, when you're building your content strategy, frequently asked questions can knock out a month or two of blog posts. And then how to help. That's the easy part. Everybody kind of knows where they fit in as far as how they can help their consumer. But those are the kind of things that you want to have in your buyer persona. There are templates out there that you can use when creating them. Or if you just want to bang one out quickly, you could just get a doc and just bullet all these out and just fill in the blanks. It's pretty simple, and so kind of why are these important? Or excuse me, before I get into that, where do you get that information? So there's a lot of different places that you can pull information from when building your personas. So for example, client interviews, again, going back to your ideal client, your favorite client. Think about your favorite customers. What's the breakdown of them? Do they have certain age groups? What are their demographics? Why are they working with you in the first place? What were their challenges, pain points? Why are you helping them? Where's the value that you're giving? Same thing when you're talking in the sales process. You can glean a lot of information from that too. Kind of like, why are they even meeting with you? Why are they talking to you? Why do they need your product or service? Company research. So that's kind of, especially when you're in kind of startup mode, when you're, especially like software, any kind of business really, you're creating that business because there's a need, because there is an underserved, from your perspective, place in the market to where you can provide value in exchange for, for your products or services. So a lot of the information that you put together to kind of get that going is a lot of the same information that you can use for your persona research. Nielsen data, that's pretty cool. If they have something called My Best Segments, so you could just do a Google search for that. It's particularly useful if you have a business that is more kind of geographical bound, and reason being is to use the tool, you typically enter in zip codes. And when you put in the zip codes, so say for example you work in the Mount Pleasant area, you might put in the different zip codes for Mount Pleasant. It essentially spits out buyer personas. It gives you demographic information, tells you, how their household is, what cars they drive, what they read, what they watch on television, what sports they play, everything. It's amazing the amount of data you can get from Nielsen. And a lot of it's free, some of it you have to pay for. And then Google keyword search and Uber suggest. So, again, like, what would someone be typing into the search engines to find your product or service? Just doing simple keyword research will kind of give you an idea of what people might be typing in if they have that pain, if they have that challenge, if they have those goals. And the reason all this is important is you use all this information that you compile. It's not simply just an exercise to be doing it just to be doing it. This information that you put together you can use to drive your marketing campaigns. So for example, if you're creating a website or if you're revising your website, instead of just listing out all the bullets of features of your software and why they're great and shiny, instead put bullets together about the solutions that the features provide. If your demographic information, if your target audience is primarily female, for example, we'll use images of females on your website, especially in the age range that your research showed. The marketing copy also can speak to them, so you already know what their goals, their challenges, their pain points are. Highlight that in your website because that is going to increase your conversion rate, because when they get to your website, they're automatically going to identify and say, oh yeah, that is a pain in my ass right now. Let me read further to see if this is a solution for me. And the research it can map out a lot of your content strategy right off the bat, which is awesome. So frequently asked questions, that could be your blog strategy for a few months. Common objections can be blog posts. If you're going to create premium content offers such as ebooks or white papers, let the persona research drive what those topics are. So if it's, say for example, if you're a B2B company and you have a longer sales cycle and you know what their goals, challenges, and pain points are, we'll take one of those and create an ebook or a white paper about it. So that when they come to your website, number one, you have a conversion opportunity. Number two, you're giving them information, you're providing value that they can use for their buyer's journey. Same with landing pages. It kind of goes in relation to your website copy, to where, for example, the headlines of your landing pages can be, and your content offers can be around their goals, challenges, and pain points. So that's going to help you have a higher conversion rate. It's going to help your message resonate with your audience a lot better and help them move through the buyer's journey down your funnel. Same thing with email marketing, advertising. With email marketing, for example, your subject line should speak directly to the research that you put together. The way that you write your email copy should speak to your audience as well. You might talk to a male that's 60 years old differently than you would talk to a millennial, for example, the language that you use and the topics that you cover. Same with advertising, kind of going back to imagery. If your audience is male, use male images. If they're female, use female images. The headlines, all the copy in your advertising, the targeting, for example. How many of y'all have tried Facebook advertising, running Facebook ads? Cool. If you haven't, I encourage you to try. They're extremely powerful. It's probably one of the best channels that I'm using right now. And another thing that's kind of funny during my sales process is when I kind of bring up the idea, I say, Facebook ads might be great. My audience isn't on Facebook. I'm like, come on, there's billions of people around the world, everybody's on Facebook. Your audience is on Facebook more than likely. But same thing, so the persona research, what do you have in that? You have your demographic information, you have what they're interested in, all that stuff. Literally, you can take that information and create an audience in Facebook. They're targeting, and on their platform it's ridiculous. The level of detail that you can get in your targeting is amazing. And a lot of the targeting can come directly from your persona research. So the next thing that I see quite often is websites that just lack conversion opportunities. For example, I go to a website for a prospect and I see they have a contact us page and they have their telephone number. That's it. That's the only way. So if you kind of think about, if you get this much traffic in a month, well, the people that are going to fill out your contact form or call you is probably about this much. What about all of these other visitors? You're not capturing any information from them. You're not getting them into your process, into your funnels. You're not getting conversions out of them. So if you have this many visitors, you're only capturing this many. These people in the buyer's journey, they're the ones that are ready right now. They're ready to either buy, they're ready to talk to a salesperson. They've kind of went through the buyer's cycle, and they're at that point where they're ready to pull the trigger. The other people may not be ready to buy right this second, but they might be in research mode. They still might be qualified visitors. They might be interested in your product or service. So why not have a way to at least get some kind of information from them in exchange for value, for information? So if you already know what they need to research to make a buying decision, you already know what they're looking for, why not give them that information so they're getting it from you, and you're delivering value, giving a good brand impression, and giving your brand the opportunity to continue to get in front of them. So what I kind of mean by this is, the phone number and the contact page, that's the decision stage. So you're missing opportunity for all this here. So a good analogy is, say if you're from out of town, you live up north, for example, and you're thinking about moving to Charleston. Maybe your job is transferring you down to Charleston, and you need oh man, sorry. I set calendar reminders for everything. So, so what are you going to type in first when you're looking for real estate in Charleston? You don't know the area, so you're just going to type in Charleston real estate. Well, at that point, you might be a year out before you're going to buy a house, because you're still kind of in research mode. You're going to buy a house, you just don't know where yet. So you're in the awareness stage. You're wanting to learn about the areas, about the town, about the schools, so on and so forth. So if you're a real estate website, for example, what if you had a guide, Discover Charleston guide, or here's an ebook, here's a checklist of things you need to do when you first move down here. Here are the schools that are in each area. So kind of helping them learn the lay of the land, I guess. So say they did Charleston real estate, 6 months went by and they realized, okay, I really want to live in Mount Pleasant. I like the schools there, they're going to be great for my children. Now you're kind of in the consideration stage because you've narrowed it down a little bit more. So that's where you can maybe give testimonials, case studies, different things like that, where they're kind of moving into say for example, if they're like, all right, now I know I want to live in Mount Pleasant, but I really like the master plan community, Dunes West and Park West. Well, which one is going to be right for me? So you're in the consideration stage. You're trying to decide between one development or another. So you could have different information on both. So that way, what this does is it's giving you an opportunity to start creating that funnel and converting all the rest of the traffic that comes to your website. So say, for example, if they were to download a free guide about the areas of Charleston, you could just ask them for their name and their email. It's not a lot of information, but what that does is it allows you to then send them email communications, to get in front of them various ways with your marketing. You're helping them through their buyer's journey, through their research, and you're delivering that value so that way they're going to trust your brand a little more than they would someone that they're not familiar with. So again, instead of just having call to actions for the decision stage, add other things to your website that allows you to convert more of your website traffic. And funnel all the things. So, like I said, marketing funnels are extremely powerful right now, and you can pretty much make a funnel out of every marketing channel, almost. So you have the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel, which is exactly same thing, awareness stage, consideration stage. So your marketing funnel is going to be directly aligned with the buyer's journey. So again, website, how can you kind of funnelize your website? Well, it kind of goes back to that graph. You want to have different types of content. You might have a blog post of someone that's still in the awareness stage. You might have a case study for someone to download that's in the consideration stage. So your website can have different types of traffic to kind of, speak to the people that are in the different stages. And if you really want to take it to that next level, there's technology such as HubSpot that will allow you to change the experience of your website based on where people are in the funnel. So say if someone came to your website as a brand new visitor, they might see a certain set of call to actions. If they downloaded your ebook, next time they come back to the website, it can dynamically change and serve up a different set of call to actions, perhaps for the consideration stage offers. Landing page and thank you pages, you can kind of create a funnel process for those as well. So for example, if you have an ebook, right, and they go to your landing page for the ebook, your top of the funnel ebook, they fill out the form, name and email, they go to the thank you page. On your thank you page, what you can do then is introduce the next step of the funnel. So you can say, hey, thanks, check your email to download the ebook, and you could have a call to action for your next offer. Perhaps here's our case study, or here's another white paper, a more in-depth ebook. So you're moving them from top of the funnel and giving them the opportunity to move to middle of the funnel just like that. You'd be surprised how many people convert that quickly. Content marketing, again, having content that supports the various stages of the funnel. Same with your email automation. So for example, if they download an ebook and now you have their email. So you can do marketing automation, send them emails, kind of drip on them from time to time. And you can kind of funnelize that, meaning the types of content that you deliver in those emails. So say at first you just want to deliver value, give them more educational resources, more content to help them. And then after a while, you want to start getting introduce that, more of a promotional type stuff. Here's a coupon, check out our case study, kind of getting into a little more of the selling, I guess. You've given them value, and now it's time to help them convert to the next stage of the funnel. And then advertising and retargeting is very effective. So another example is going back to Facebook ads. So say if you write a blog post about a frequently asked question that you discovered in your persona research. You promote that blog post on Facebook to your target audience, which you know who it is because you got that information from your persona research. What you could do is the people that read that blog post, you can pixel them. So all the people that have read your blog post, you want to serve different ads to those people. You might want to serve ads to them promoting your ebook. The people that download your ebook, now you can serve ads to them that might get them to download your case study or watch a testimonial video, for example. So you're making your advertising. A lot of people will just stay top of the funnel with their advertising or bottom of the funnel, buy. But what you could do is have top of the funnel advertising, middle, and bottom, and just segment it out to where you're targeting ads to people that have performed those actions. So kind of that behavior-based targeting. And then what you're doing through all this, you're doing your persona research, you're doing all the marketing channels, you're doing all this stuff. What you're doing during this time is you're building a lot of valuable data that you can use to optimize your campaign. So it happens all the time. I'll have a new campaign that I launch. I'll have it targeted, but I kind of intentionally leave the net a little wider because I want to build that data that I can then go back and learn from and optimize and make things just really start humming. So it always breaks my heart when I see companies that are sitting on all this great data and they're doing nothing with it. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of different data, right? And there's more than just what's listed here. But Google Analytics, for example, you could spend days just going through all the data in there and just have like a week-long geek out session. But there's a lot of good information in there. So where's your traffic coming from? What channels convert better than others? What if you're running banner ads here, Google ads here, Facebook ads there? What if these ads you're spending money but they're never converting? maybe these ads are converting like crazy. Well, pull your budget out of there and put it into the one that's performing. Your blog posts, which blog posts are attracting the most visitors? Which blog posts are sending or assisting the most conversions? That'll let you know kind of the content topics that maybe you need to write more about. Heat maps. Does everybody know what a heat map is? So basically what it is, it's if this was our web page, a heat map would just show us where everybody's been clicking on the page. It's more of a visual Google Analytics, I guess. You can learn a lot of great things. For example, one of our clients, we were looking at their heat map recently, and we realized that if this is their home page, 50% of the people were never making it past 50% of the page. They kind of scroll down and then that's it. So we noticed a lot of the clicks were going to a certain part of the navigation, as well as a button that was on their home page kind of above the fold that was really the same place as the navigation. So we knew, okay, well that's what they're really interested in. All the stuff below here, they don't really care. So that gives us ideas to go back and optimize and change things around on the home page. Advertising, kind of going back to Facebook, and you can do it with Google too. So say with Google AdWords, if you're running AdWords, you might start with a keyword set of, 10 or 20 keywords, right? And you let the data build for a month or two, and you realize, okay, we've been spending money on these 20 keywords. They're all costing us money. People are clicking, we're paying for all those clicks. But there's really only 8 keywords that are actually sending business. Keywords that are converting into leads or sales. So then you would know, all right, well, let's get rid of all these other keywords that are spending money but not delivering business for us, and let's focus on these and see if we can expand around those topics. And then if you're doing Facebook advertising, for example, I like to take my persona research and run ads to them, but keep it a little bit broad, so that way I can kind of start collecting data. So one example is, I had a client that we were running ads and we created our target audience based off our persona research. But then after running it for a while and building up data, we learned males between the age of 45 and 54, the conversion rate was almost double, cost per lead was cut in half. So now we only serve ads to males between the age of 45 and 54 because it outperforms and the audience is big enough that we can just continue to market to them. Same with email. Pay attention to the subject lines that you use. Which emails are getting opened more than others, and why is that? Is that did you have kind of a catchy subject line, or is it the content of the email that they're more interested in than others? And always test. Always test. So, for example, if you're going to create an ad, a Facebook ad, instead of just coming out with one image, try 2. Split test them. Which image is going to perform better than the others? If you're creating a landing page, create 2. One example is recently for a client, they already had a landing page for a particular campaign, and I created a B version that essentially was the same information, just laid out in a different way. And the B version, I think the conversion rate was about 8% higher. So right off the bat, just from doing that one test, I was able to get more leads for them out of the same budget. So after that landing page one, I created another one to pit against my winner. And what I did there is I just completely changed the copy. Same layout, but they said different things. And this page, I think we were able to increase the conversion rate over 20%. We went from around 10% conversion rate to about 50%. That's huge. We doubled our leads just from testing. So always be testing. Test your subject lines in your emails, test your landing pages, your ads, headlines in your website. With digital marketing, you can test everything, you can monitor everything, you can track everything, and you can take that data and learn from it and optimize. So again, headlines, images, you'd be surprised, one image may outperform another image, night and day difference. You'd never know if you didn't test them. Even your ad targeting, kind of going back to that one example, male and female, our male audience converted at half the price, more conversions for, half the cost. So kind of mess around with things like that. And then always be conscious of what is generating leads and sales. A lot of the times when I'm meeting with clients and I'll start to research and learn, what they're doing, what marketing they're doing, how's it working. They're doing a lot of things, but they don't, oftentimes they can't really answer the question of what's sending you business, what's outperforming the other. They just kind of do stuff to be doing it because they know it's great, but they're not really tracking what's working and what's not working. So kind of going back to that example, if you're spending money on 4 different types of advertising, if only 2 of those are sending business, well then don't spend money on the other 2. Take that budget and double it in the places that are working. And data-based optimizations. So the more that you do, the more data that you build, you use that data to make your optimizations. So I'm happy to be wrong. If the data tells me that I'm wrong and it tells me what to do, then I let the data tell me what to do with optimizations. Always make data-based optimizations. And then KPIs. Again, I'm a little surprised by the amount of companies that, I get it. I mean, you get busy and you're just kind of in the day-to-day, but you can't improve what you don't measure. So if you're not tracking these KPIs, how can you make things better? You have no idea where to begin. You have no idea what's broke, what's working great, if you're not tracking. So the first step is define your KPIs. What's important to your business? What metrics are going to move the needle for your sales? Figure out what those are, especially from a marketing standpoint, and kind of define those for your list of KPIs. And then for KPIs, it's easy to say, okay, we need a few KPIs, but then next thing you know, you have a list of like 20 things that you're wanting to track. Let's be realistic. They're all important, but key, the first word is key, so just pick out the ones that are most important. You can always go down in the rabbit hole and look at all the data if you want, but and then I highlighted this because know what influences these metrics. The KPIs are worthless if you don't know how to affect them. So for example, if you're looking at your KPIs and things are up, why are they up? What is it that you did that made them go up? Do more of that. If you don't know what influences it, you're not going to know. On the flip side, if things are down and they're performing badly, you need to know what to fix. And if you don't know where those levers are, then you're not going to know what to adjust. And then create an easy to review dashboard or report. So for example, in Google Analytics, you can create a custom report. You can pretty much pick and choose whatever kind of data that you want to put in there. You can even automate it. You can have it go out to all the stakeholders once a week, once a month, with only those KPIs. They also have dashboards, so where you can have this nice, pretty visual charts and graphs and everything. So that you basically is you want to have something that is easy to view on a regular basis. Not, I've seen some companies that they have the KPIs, but it's like a 20-page report, and nobody's going to sit down and go through 20 pages of data every week or every month. So make sure it's short and concise, that they're metrics that will move the needle in your business, and you know how to influence them. And review them on a regular basis. If you're going to set up a report to email yourself weekly or monthly and you never look at it, then it was a wasted effort. So make sure you review it on a regular basis. So kind of summarizing everything that we talked about, all good marketing campaigns always begin with knowing your audience. So instead of jumping right into, let's write some ads, let's do some keywords, blah, 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 step back and say, let's make sure that everything that we're doing is speaking to our audience, that it's going to resonate with our audience, and that we're hitting on all those goals, challenges, pain points, so that way our marketing will be a lot more effective. Let that persona research drive your marketing campaigns. That research is, it's more than just an exercise. It's information that you can use to drive your content strategy, to drive your advertising, to drive the copy on your website. Build marketing funnels and try to funnelize as much as you can. So, and try to make your funnels work together too. So kind of going back to that example is the different parts of your website. If you have a top of the funnel conversion, an ebook, they go from that type of content to the thank you page. So that's on your website. That's your landing pages that are working together. And then that triggers your email automation that then is working in unison with that funnel from your website. Your ads, if they came in from an ad, well, now it's time to serve them different ads. So kind of take everything that you're doing, make a funnel out of it, and have it all work together. Leverage your data, make data-based optimizations. Always test and optimize, because you never know. I've even had times when I'm writing AdWords ads, pay-per-click, and I'll write a few ads and I'm like, man, that one right there I know is going to be the king. And then a month goes by and it was like the worst performing ad. It was the one that I came up with right at the very end. I was like, I'm just going to make another one to be making another one. And that one crushed, all the other ones that I put so much time and effort to. But I would have never known if I didn't create multiple ads and test. And by doing that, by creating all the split tests and multivariate tests, what you're doing is you're building data. And you can use that data so then little things like, okay, well, instead of marketing to males and females between age of 40 and 65, really my money spot is 45 to 54 male only type thing. You would have never known that if you didn't kind of run all your different split tests, build the data, and let the data tell you what to do. And then track important KPIs. So what questions do you guys have?
First of all, thank you. This is a really fascinating presentation. My name is Betsy Henderson. I'm with CodeLinks, we're a software company based in North Charleston. I have a question about webinars. I noticed you had it listed at sort of the second phase. So guest consideration, right, where they're aware but they're not yet in the buy phase. What has been your experience with webinars as a way to kind of engage with potential clients or customers, or even just building brand recognition?
Okay.
Do you have any, advice on that or reflections on the best
Yeah.
way to reach people? We've experimented, for example, saying, hey, we are having a webinar, or doing other newsletters and including webinar links, and just kind of trying to gauge the best way. We're excited as a way to offer value to potential clients, so we can offer insight. But I'm wondering from the customer contact perspective, how valuable are webinars?
They're really valuable. I mean, it depends on your industry, but for software, they're generally pretty good. And you can use them in different ways. So you could really use them for all types of your funnel. You could have kind of the higher top of the funnel webinar, to where it might be just about like an industry topic that that your audience might be interested in, not promotional at all. Well, I say that, of course, like if it's a 45-minute webinar, 40 minutes are going to be informational, but that last 5 minutes is going to be sign up for a demo. But so that could be a top of the funnel webinar. How are you guys getting people to attend your webinars? What kind of targeting?
Well, I think we've been experimenting, and we have it, depending on our services, the client base is somewhat different since we work, we're in a commercial space. We've also had government customers in the past and currently as well. We've actually been turning to Eventbrite as a way to get the word out. We use MailChimp for a lot of our email communication, and that's been great. The data's fantastic. We can see a lot of our analytics. But just kind of driving, I don't think we've found the golden way to drive people to our webinars. Not to say that there isn't one, but just curious kind of the best way to pitch that or to pick that, or things to make sure to avoid. We're trying to figure out if it's the subject line, or if it's the length, the duration, or should we be having guest speakers. There's so many possibilities, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, so for webinars, again, you could do industry topics for top of the funnel. Middle funnel could be like if you have 20 people that are interested in seeing a demo, maybe they're threatened by doing a one-on-one demo with a salesperson. That might be less intimidating if it's, we're going to demo our software at 12:30 today to 50 people. That way they can get in there, they can get the information, but it's not like a sales call so much with a one-on-one salesperson. As far as driving interest, a lot of the things that I've had success with are, and again, it depends on who you're targeting, but LinkedIn ads are great because obviously you can target by a job title. You can target by industry, which is good. Now keep in mind, at least from my experience, LinkedIn ads are generally a little more expensive. The clicks are a lot higher. The volume is going to be lower, but it's super targeted. It's really quality traffic. Facebook ads, always go back to that because again, you can target by job title, you can target by industry, you can target by interests. So you can kind of paint that picture of, what does your software do for these people and what interests would they have if they're going to be doing your software, and run ads for your webinar. And So there's a different ways. I'd create a landing page for your webinar, kind of like selling it, attend this webinar, you'll learn blah, 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 blah. And just name an email or whatever to get them into your list. So yeah, LinkedIn ads, Facebook ads. Another thing too is interesting is you mentioned MailChimp, so you probably have a list,
Yes.
right? Another thing you can do with Facebook ads is you can take that email list and you can load them in to Facebook as an audience. So first off, that enables you to show ads to your email list. And secondly, that where the real value is, you can take that list and make a lookalike audience. So what Facebook will do is you can say, all right, here's my list of 1,000 people, of my customers, for example. Facebook, create a list of people that are very similar to them. So Facebook is sitting on an insane amount of data, and they're very smart, and they know how to use that data. So if you have a list of 1,000, they can create 1 million people that have those same attributes as your list. So then you take your list of 1,000 people, and you've created a list of 1 million people that then you can say, and what that generally does is it's more targeted, and you can layer over your interests and everything on top of that, and the clicks are typically cheaper because instead of going out to a cold audience, I guess it's still cold, but Facebook has a little data to kind of go off of, so your conversion rate's higher, clicks are cheaper.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Do you think surveys are valuable tools for persona research, or you said generally the response rates are too low?
I'm glad you said that because I should have put that in my slide. Yes, surveys are excellent. Survey your clients, survey your prospects. There's also really cool tools. I know Google has one, for example, where you can put together a survey for an industry. You've probably seen it where if you're on a website, it might just pop up and say, answer this quick question. Well, what they can do is ask, thousands of people a quick question, 10 different questions, but just kind of sporadically for your audience, and you can build a lot of data that way. If you don't really have people to survey, you can use their audience. It's a price to it, but I don't think it's pretty reasonable. Yeah.
Thanks for doing this, by the way.
Sure,
A lot
pleasure.
of cool information. I'm an animator. I mostly do kind of like explainer videos for
Yeah.
startups and software companies. One of the things that I notice is that a lot of my clients, they pay all this money for an explainer video describing their service. They pop it on YouTube and then just kind of walk away from it. Do you have any suggestions on how I can suggest that they utilize these products better?
Yeah, we see that a lot as well. Number one is put it on the website, and you can use it in several different places. So explainer videos, as you know, you see them a lot on like software websites, anything where you have like, we do all this stuff, but how can I tell you what I do in a minute, So homepage is good for that. Landing pages are good for that too. If it's someone that they're coming, and especially with stuff where it's like we do all of these things and it's hard to really, if you were to explain it, it might be a whole page worth of copy where a video could be a minute. It's good on landing pages, home pages, sales pages, and then your ads. I hate to keep going back to Facebook ads, but you could just do so much with them. So for example, if they have people that are kind of already in their funnel, in the explainer video it's more salesy, more promotional. But what if you were to do a video ad on Facebook to the people that have kind of already been in contact with the company? Maybe they downloaded a white paper, for example. You can do retargeting, so all the people that have visited the website, you could show an ad to that audience of the explainer video. Video ads are typically pretty inexpensive, so that's another idea too with advertising.
Yeah, I think also I appreciate what you said about specifying it for top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, because everything that I do pretty much is just here's everything that we do, try and condense it like you said.
Yeah.
But different videos for different portions of the funnel kind of makes sense to me. So
Yeah, it's very powerful because nobody wants to be sold off the rip, but when they want to know more information, they want to know more information. Video is a really good way to do that. Yeah.
cool, appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm curious, you really like, sounds like you really like Facebook ads. But
Yeah, does it show?
The issue I have with the B2B
Uh-huh.
is that a lot of times, you say you're supposed to, center that target, that funnel to the people that you're marketing to. And those people in my business are usually people that can at least sign off on the deals, like CFOs or directors of IT or that type of thing. And I don't know that when we do blogs and we do postings on Facebook, we really get hits from people that just, might be IT people, but are not necessarily the buying people that we're targeting versus something like LinkedIn. So I'm not sure, which I think, do you think, this question is, do you think that depending on the industry, Facebook might not be the better venue versus maybe a LinkedIn or something like
Yeah,
that?
so most of the time, I'd say 90% of the time, all the different industries, I found Facebook to be effective. I did have one weird industry to where I did Facebook and LinkedIn, and they both worked, but even though LinkedIn was more expensive, we were able to get a lot higher quality. But with Facebook ads, you do have the same targeting as LinkedIn, so you could only target people with the title of CEO, CFO, you could do it by job title if you want. And then there's other things too that they have in there to where you can not only target by title, but maybe have a couple safety nets. For example, if just thinking about small business, which I know isn't yours, but just for an example, is what if you did president or founder, but then as a safety net, you might say, only Facebook page admins. Someone that has kind of like admin rights to certain things. There's so many different ways you can chunk it up, but I would test both. I would run ads on LinkedIn. I would run ads on Facebook, but targeting those titles and any other information that you have, and just see which works.
So do you have any tips for the best way to measure your ROI on these Facebook ads? Because that's the challenge that we ran into several times trying to run ads. We couldn't really tell that we were actually getting a return on.
Yeah, so there's definitely a few ways that you could do that. So one is when you're running the ad, create a tracking link. So like Google Analytics, UTM. So you can create a tracking link to use in your ad. So that way when you're in Google Analytics, you can see, all right, these clicks came from Facebook, and did they convert? If you have goal tracking set up in Analytics, you can know that they converted into a lead or a sale. Another way is Facebook itself has pixels, so you can add tracking pixels. So for example, you add a tracking pixel to your thank you page. So all the people that filled out the form and hit the thank you page must have converted. And that actually will help your campaigns perform better because Facebook can optimize for conversions. So say you ran your campaign and you started building data and say you had 50 conversions, well then Facebook's going to learn from that. They're going to say, okay, well these types of people are converting. Let me serve more ads to those types of people. Their algorithm is extremely intelligent, and the more conversion data that you have. So yeah, to track, you do UTM tracking for your analytics and use the Facebook pixels, because you can even set up both in Google Analytics and Facebook. You could put a dollar amount, you can put conversions. So in your reports, you can say we got this many impressions, this many clicks, this many leads that translated to this many dollars in sales. And they also do metrics of cost per lead, or cost per sale. So you could say we had a budget of $1,000. We paid $10 per lead type deal, or $50 for a sale, and then you can see if that makes sense.
Conversion data feeds back to Facebook?
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like sales?
It can, yeah. So you can put in like a dollar amount. You can do that on both, so that way you can kind of see if it's making financial sense. But their traffic is generally cheaper than what I see on AdWords and LinkedIn, so it's pretty cost effective. And their audience is gigantic. So
Yeah. Thanks.
sure. That it?
I got one.
Oh, sure.
For Google Analytics, like what do you pay attention to in Google Analytics that you found to be the most helpful in understanding your audience?
Yeah, so I always try to create a custom report in a dashboard. Some of the common metrics that I put are sources. Like where's the traffic coming from? Is it Google organic? Is it paid traffic? Is it a referring site? Is it email? So kind of a source medium report. And then in that source medium report, I'll do leads and sales and conversion rate, so that I can see by channel, is AdWords converting higher, than say some other channel? So you can kind of see like which channels are sending better traffic. So I always track my traffic, my leads, referring source, and then kind of popular pages. I always want to know conversion rates for everything that I can, because if you know how things are converting, you can improve on those. Did that help? Did that kind of answer your question?
Yeah.
Another shortcut too is if you can do a Google search for like Google Analytic custom reports. Some marketing blogs will have ones that they've already built, and you can share those reports. So they'll say, here's a report that we built for XYZ, and they'll have a link. And if you're logged into Google Analytics, you can click that link, and you can pretty much just copy that report and just make a couple tweaks. It's a shortcut to getting good reporting.
Have you had any success with Twitter ads, or
I've dabbled very briefly.
the audience is kind of
Yeah,
different from
I've heard mixed reviews. Some people
Mhm.
are, I think it depends on the industry. If your audience is there, certain verticals are very Twitter heavy.
Mhm.
And if your audience is there, run ads for sure, but I haven't done a whole lot with it. I've heard mixed reviews. Some people say yeah, and some people say no. I just haven't really messed with it that much.
So I'm a small business, and listening to you, I realize that that's not my expertise. And I'm looking at your website now. I mean, do you take on, is that what your business is? You take on, businesses to take care of this for them?
Yeah, that's what we do.
And then do you have is there packages, for a small business? I mean, can you just do a portion of it? Do you follow up with the analytics? Or do you kind of just forward that information for other people to review?
Yeah, we have a team in-house that handles all that. I have business cards too, if y'all, when you're leaving, if you want to grab one. Happy to talk about anything like that offline and go into more detail.
All right, Zach will probably be around for a couple of minutes if you have some questions. Certainly appreciate it, Zach. Thank you for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And
Appreciate it.